Hey everyone, I know I haven't done one of these in a while, but something I've been wanting to do with these for a while that I'm going to now start doing with more consistency is I want to do kind of inspiration series where I'm going to just do a quick little video, and these ones are probably going to be very quick, where I talk about someone who has inspired me in some way. And so for this first one, I thought it'd be appropriate to kind of start at kind of my beginning as a sorts, and talk about my parents. Um, I think my parents are incredible. I know I'm incredibly fortunate to have the love and support of my family that I've always had, especially in choosing a career that um, what's the word I want? That at least stereotypically, you hear a lot of people uh, dissuading people to go after. But my family, and especially my parents, have always encouraged me to follow my dreams. Um, and when I think about like all the things that my parents have done for me, and my brothers as well, and kind of just our life, I'm constantly really in awe of how they did it all, because I think about the fact that both of my brothers and me, we all have degrees. We were fortunate enough to not really have to pay for much of that, or any of that in my case. Um, and not that I didn't, I went to a fairly cheap school for my undergraduate, and I worked hard. I got academic scholarships and talent scholarships, but they put three kids through three different college programs, um, as on teachers' salaries, which, um, it's no secret that teachers should be paid more. Um, And then, even just that aside, I think about how they raised me and who I've become as an adult, and I'm really proud of who I am. And I think about, all of my values and things that I think are inherently good or bad. And I can't really think of specific memories where my parents were like drilling a specific like dogma into my head. It was very much, I think, whenever I reminisce about it, kind of a a leading by example, right? Um, it's difficult for me to put into words, I suppose, sometimes. But it seems when I think about how my parents parented me, and I know this can't possibly be the case, um, given that they had three boys, and two of them twins, and one of them being me, but it feels as though their parenting in terms of instilling like morals and virtues and a sense of right and wrong, work ethic, pride in what we do. It feels, when I think about it, having done any of the parenting, obviously, it feels like it must have been really effortless, because to me, it was never really something that was applied with specific pressures. Um, and I don't know. I think it's really cool. It's something I've very much feel so fortunate for the family I have. Um, and when I think about how I was raised, I do feel a swell of pride for who it's allowed me to become. And kind of at the end of the day, I really like myself. And I think that that's really inspiring that, I have two parents who admittedly, I mean, I had a recently this like a year ago, I was kind of at a fork in the road with a kind of potential big career change that I could have made, or at least at the time it seemed like I could have made. That's all very boring stuff. But my dad, I was calling them. I called my parents and I didn't know what to do because it felt like I was being faced with a decision to choose like security and um, financial security and all this and that. But it would have forced me to divorce myself of everything I am, everything that I've like built my life to be, and not for nothing, everything that I've put time and effort into cultivating in terms of like skills and talents. And my dad said something along the lines of, or admitted that like, hey, none of us in the family are really artists, so we don't really know what it is to have this walk. So we don't really have specific advice for this particular fork in the road. And there was, I don't know, it's something so supportive and honest in that was really comforting, not in that it led me with any answers because I was still not that we don't ultimately, when we're all have to make our own decisions, but it was, I guess, a moment where I felt really seen. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm gonna like switch tracks a little bit and just talk about because I'm very proud of the man I've become, and I look up to my dad a lot for all of that, um, because I think my dad's a great man. I think he's a very honorable man. He's a very honest man, which was something that was very drilled into me. But I was a bit of a liar as a small child, as all children are when they're afraid of punishment or want to avoid it. But he really drilled the importance of honesty and how trust is so easily lost and so hard to earn. But then I look at my mom as and she is one of the most creative people I know. If you could look around our house, we had a game room where we ripped out all the carpet and she painted to look like a basketball floor, and we had these like fake scoreboards that went over the big windows. She painted that room to look as if it had like brick behind plaster, and the plaster was like falling off in places, kind of like an old Western thing. She's always doing something. For those of you who are friends with her on Facebook, you see the skeleton decoration series now, which I just love so much. My mom has always had such like a youthful spirit, and I think that's where I get a lot of that from myself. And it's one of the things I like most about me is like a childlike sense of play and wonder and creativity, and it's something that I think the world needs a lot more of because it's unabashedly like bright and unapologetically silly. And I think it's very easy nowadays to just like have such a constant like feeling as though the cameras are always rolling, somebody's always watching, and so you have to kind of always be on or cultivate this like persona around yourself. But my mom is just uh, silly, goofy, incredibly creative, kind of just like happy influence. And I find her energy so uh, infectious. She's just very fun. She's fun to be around. It's I don't know. So I guess not that I'm rambling more, and I'm becoming now. Speaking of the camera always being on, not that I aren't speaking directly into a camera, but I'm becoming very aware of the fact that my parents are going to see this, and I'm getting, I'm starting to feel a little bit bashful. So I will end it here by saying, I love you, mom and dad. Uh, I couldn't ask for better parents, and I feel very lucky to have had such incredible parents, and I feel honestly inspired by the both of you. Um, and I'm gonna continue taking all the gifts you've given me and putting them into my life, um, and we're gonna make something really cool.